Yeah, we shouldn't have known it wouldn't take long for the government to try to get involved with this. Welcome guys back to Wrestling with Finance, the YouTube channel that helps people who have wrestled with finance in their past possibly not do so in the future. We're talking today about BlockFi. BlockFi, one of the more popular finapps for crypto investing or crypto trading, or in this case, gaining interest off of your crypto. Now, over the past week or so, it's been in the news a lot how BlockFi has been targeted by certain states in the United States to cease and desist. They've got another cease and desist order from the state of New Jersey, where ironically enough, the company is based out of. Texas and Alabama have also joined in this too. And the real question is, does this mean this is the end for BlockFi? And if you're a person who has an account with BlockFi, does this mean you should take it out? We'll talk about that. And by the end of this video, you should be able to make a pretty informed decision as to whether or not you want to take all your stuff off of BlockFi tomorrow. Before we get into that though, I want to remind you guys, of course, this being YouTube, the YouTube algorithm, it just loves when you hit the like button. So take your finger, hit that like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell, so you're notified when I have more videos here on Wrestling with Finance in the future. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. It definitely helps out the channel. So I guess before we get into this, I should probably reiterate what BlockFi is. Long story short, for people who are not used to it. I talked about BlockFi earlier this year on this channel when I first started it up, and how I was using BlockFi to hold my crypto. Now, I think I've got about 40% of my cryptocurrency right now in a BlockFi account. So what essentially that does is it allows the crypto that I have, which is at this point Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I did get some basic authentication BAT tokens as well, just to see where that goes in the future, because it does have potential in my opinion. By having those in a BlockFi account though, depending on which coin it is, they gain a certain amount of interest, and at the end of every single month I am paid that interest in the form of whatever cryptocurrency I decide. So I can have it paid out to me in a USD stable coin, or the interest can be paid in Bitcoin, or it can be paid in Ethereum, or it could be paid in BAT. So you may ask, well, what's the problem? Why does Texas and why does Alabama and why does New Jersey have a problem? And New York, by the way, because you can't get BlockFi in New York if I'm correct. Why do these states have a problem with BlockFi? Well, this really goes back to the fact that cryptocurrencies are not FDIC insured. Since they are not FDIC insured, and you've got this this is basically banking for crypto. And the same way your bank offers you a certain return on percentage yield on you having an account, whether it's a checking account or a savings account, or if you have a CD with a bank or whatever, and you get a certain interest rate paid back to you, that's what they're considering BlockFi to be. Now, if they are considered securities, they are subject to regulation within certain states within the United States. And that's the real question that's being asked right now, whether or not these BIAs, these BlockFi Interest Accounts, qualify as securities. Now, BlockFi has said in its rebuttal to all of this from New Jersey and Texas and Alabama that the BlockFi accounts are not securities. It's a different thing. It doesn't operate the same way, which now is called into question. How does it really operate? And we're kind of back to the same kind of thing we were with Robinhood earlier on. And much like Robinhood, it was, oh great, oh, no fee transactions, no free trades. And then we found out, how that all worked out behind the scenes. But this is a little bit different. There's a little bit more understanding amongst the crypto world as far as how BlockFi operates and how it's able to pay out its interest. There's certain partnerships they have behind the scenes about people mining. There's also the loaning out of Bitcoin. So again, much like your bank, if you have some Bitcoin in this account, they can loan that Bitcoin out to another user, and when that user pays back that loan along with interest, you get part of that interest. And that's how BlockFi works, again, like a traditional bank. The question is, again, does that qualify as a security? Now, as of right now, the cease and desist order for BlockFi to operate within New Jersey has been postponed, so they kind of have some more time to kind of plead their case and to get more information out there and to do more negotiations. However, because of the fact that Texas and Alabama have also jumped on this too, I don't think they're the last states. I think other states, because each state in the United States has different regulatory laws about security exchanges. So if that's the case, you could see about 5 or 6 other states also giving cease and desist orders for BlockFi. Comes at a real bad time too, because BlockFi is up for a new round of funding over the next couple of weeks, so that's supposed to wrap up pretty soon, I think. At the same time, there's been a lot of talk about BlockFi considering going public. So there'll be a publicly traded company. I think they're trying to do that within the next year to year and a half. This is pretty big for crypto too, because BlockFi, and you guys know who've watched my videos before, I actually have an affiliate link for BlockFi down in the description box below. I actually use BlockFi. I have a lot of friends who I've turned on to using BlockFi. It is one of the more popular platforms for gaining interest off of cryptocurrencies. However, this is just a small part of a much larger issue with the United States government and cryptocurrencies in general. Fed Chief Jerome Powell and a whole bunch of politicians in the last couple of weeks have been having a lot of discussions on Capitol Hill and a lot of meetings about cryptocurrency. And it has been pretty obvious to anybody who's been paying attention to this space that the US government essentially has saw a lot of money going around in this crypto space, and because it's a decentralized system and it is not a currency tied to any particular country, they want their piece of the pie. And it's a bit of a protective thing too, because cryptocurrency, the whole point of it is to be decentralized. So it, unlike right now where fiat money, where we have the US dollar, you could say the US dollar loosely is a global currency because it is accepted almost anywhere and everywhere. A lot of the financial world is based off of that. It's kind of driving the price of oil and vice versa. So if Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these crypto coins together become that new world currency, and you're already seeing other third world countries and other second state countries beginning to adopt Bitcoin as currency within their countries, that could change the tide and could definitely take away from the US dollar being the de facto currency of the world. Obviously, there are a lot of people in the United States government who are not going to like that. So they're going to try to regulate as much as they can. And they've been having a lot of discussions, and they've even been talking about making their own stable coin, which would be a centralized cryptocurrency, which kind of defeats the whole point of the anyway, but that's what's coming up, and they can do it. And this tends to happen when you have new industries like this break out. I mean, even if you remember the early days of the UFC, like the UFC was banned in a bunch of different states because it was new, people didn't understand it, but it was starting to gain enough momentum that the general public was already starting to pay attention to it, and a lot of state officials and federal officials were paying attention to it. Same thing is kind of going on now with cryptocurrency. States are doing one thing with it, the federal government's trying to do another thing with it, and really most of them probably don't understand what's going on with it. Even Jerome Powell said cryptocurrencies were failed currencies, and he kept repeating that over and over again.
Basically, you're right. But let me say though, with cryptocurrencies, it's not that they didn't aspire to be a payment mechanism, it's that they've completely failed to become one, except for people who desire anonymity.
Tactics to make a case to drive a narrative. And it's so obvious that that's what's going on. A lot of people fall for this stuff. But a big question some of you are probably out there asking, especially anyone who signed up through BlockFi through my videos and through my links, is should you get rid of your BlockFi account? Well, I wouldn't worry about it right now. What the cease and desist orders would really do is, in the states that are putting them out there, it would mean BlockFi would not be able to accept any new customers on the platform in those particular states. Doesn't have anything to do with shutting down BlockFi or shutting down your account. Now, the question is, as far as regulation, the securities question is a bigger thing. Because if they decided these BIAs are securities, that could affect us and it could affect our account, but right now, from everything I'm seeing, it doesn't seem likely that that's going to happen. It just seems like the U.S. government wants a cut. It wants its cut, and they need to figure out with BlockFi, and probably same thing with Coinbase and Celsius and all these other ones. Eventually, they're going to get hit with this. BlockFi is just the most popular one right now. But we will eventually talk about ledgers, and then we can also talk about moving your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or whatever you have on BlockFi, and you can go to another platform, another fintech app like Celsius, which I also have a link down in the description box below, along with a code that you can use to get yourself some free stuff by signing up with Celsius if you want to do that. But again, right now, if you have a BlockFi account, I wouldn't panic and go, oh my God, I got to get rid of it. I think some of this news has hurt the price, which was going up for a lot of the cryptos. They were down the last day and a half or so. But again, as more news comes out and as we see what really goes on between BlockFi and these different states, and if any other states hop on, and what the regulations are going to be. But again, this is not financial advice. I am not your financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. You have to do your own research and make your own decisions for yourself. You can do whatever you want to. If you want to hop out of BlockFi, you can. If you want to hop onto another platform, you can. If you just want to cash out your cryptocurrency and just take the cash, you can do that too. All those options are available to you. The main thing right now is just to keep an eye on the federal and state governments and see how this BlockFi thing pans out and whether this is going to affect the rest of the finapps. But that's it for this video here on Wrestling with Finance. I want to know what you guys think. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. And again, check down in the description box for some free goodies from me. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and help this channel out by sharing this video on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you talk about personal finance, stock market, cryptocurrency, BlockFi, and stuff like that. Until next time, I will see you guys here for more news and reviews here on Wrestling with Finance. Have a good day.